so they didn't like Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep.
But it was our lowest attendance by far, by like 50 people.
Yeah.
So people they don't like flying over Thanksgiving because of the cost.
Right.
But that's why I gave them a 2-year advance notice. Open at the, save $1 a week, or dollar a day or whatever.
Right. Right. Hi, Jane.
Hey, Jeremiah. Hi, Doug.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How about
Good,
you?
very good. I'm good. Good.
Good.
I'm ready for the cold weather to stop.
Yes, very much so. It's our 60th reunion this year,
Wow.
and I'm worried about our attendance.
When are you scheduled?
The 23rd and 24th of September. And for the first time, we always have a Friday night casual, which we're going to do again. But instead of the Saturday night dress up dinner, whatever dance thing, we're going to have a luncheon. As I sent out an email, a good suggestion from last year's meeting that I got from a couple of people and from Kathy Arnold, and asked people to give me their opinion. And at our age, a lot of people said, not driving at night, want to do a luncheon. So we'll see.
Well, that is kind of nice though, because you're actually getting 2 functions in, and people can leave and be home on Saturday night.
Exactly.
Which is great. Great idea.
Yeah. And we're last time we just had like appetizers, hors d'oeuvres at the Friday night. Well, some people came in and made it dinner and there wasn't enough. So we said, okay, buffet both time, it's dinner time, So, if you want to come both, you come both. If you want to come just one, because, and hopefully that'll also help with the, I can't afford this problem.
Right. Good.
And when is yours?
Ours is on August 27th, and we're going to do it at the, I hope I say this right, the Lancaster Yacht and Tennis Club.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that's on Columbia Avenue.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And ours is a Saturday night event.
Just a Saturday night. What class are you?
77. So this will be 45 for us.
Okay, good. Hey, Kathy.
Now we can see you.
Kathy's right next to me, so she's muted.
Oh, that's the reason that you said that she's muted?
There we go.
Hi, Carol.
Hello.
Just give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. Hi, Makita, if you can hear us. And hi,
Hi,
Ann.
yes. Thank you. You said my name correctly. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just watching my kids, so I didn't want to be on and off the camera.
That makes it more fun though. All the running, if there's a lot of running around.
Hi, Angela.
Yeah, we're flying kites. We're flying kites right now, so there's a lot of running around.
Kathy. If I'll see you at the LEF meeting next week.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Oh,
Oh,
that's why I have to be muted because of
got
the
it.
computers. So I guess,
Just remind me to tell you the story.
oh, don't, I will. Don't
Okay, good.
worry. I love stories.
Wait,
Okay.
you
Bye.
can't tell everybody?
No, I'm sorry. It is a reunion related story,
Ah,
but
okay.
unfortunately not a shareable one.
Okay, everyone, I guess we'll get started since it's 6:32. Let me just share my screen here. So welcome once again to the class reunion workshop. Are you able to hear an echo of me? A little
Oh,
bit?
maybe, but not much. Not like Kathy's.
Yeah, it's not much.
1 second.
I was wondering how he jumps off the top of that building like that and gets down to the first floor.
I told you I'm Tornado Man. Just mute yourself. Okay.
Yes, Tornado Man will live forever.
All right. Yeah, why don't you shut down and then you can join me, Kathy, over here. Yeah. All right. Welcome everyone to the 2022 class reunion workshop. So I'd like to just start by going around and just introduce yourself, give us your name, your graduation year, and let us know if you're currently planning a reunion or if you recently held one, or if you're completely new to this, let us know that too. So let's start. I'll just go around the room and start with Doug Kaufman.
I had myself on mute. Hi, everybody. Doug Kaufman, class of 77. This year is our 45th reunion. I was telling my brother, who's also on, that it's getting a little disconcerting that the most faces I see are a lot
Everyone
younger
hear
than me.
Doug?
Pardon me?
I'm not able to hear Doug suddenly.
Can you hear me? Can everybody else hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yep.
I can hear you.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
So we are holding our reunion this year. We'll be on.
Bear with me,
August-
everyone. I'm sorry. I'm just having trouble hearing you all now.
Okay. You might
You're
want
the
to switch
young
over.
one.
And he's the young one. So just to finish on my end, our reunion is being held on August 27th. We're going to be at the Lancaster Yacht and Tennis Club. And so we can hold probably between 150 and 200 people. And it's a single one-night event. And I heard some great schedules about having a Friday night and Saturday day event. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. So welcome everybody and thanks for letting me be part of it.
Okay. I'm assuming, Doug, you just finished. Now I can hear you. So we'll move on to.
Okay, you said me, huh?
Right.
I'm Jane Appleyard, class of 1962. This year we are planning our 60th reunion, which actually I think we're a year. It should have been whatever. Anyway, 60. No, this is the right year. So anyway, scary to have me on the committee, isn't it? And I don't know what I'm talking about. We are going to have a 2-day reunion. It's going to be at the Doubletree in Willow Street on September 23rd and 24th. Friday night, we are having a casual evening with a buffet. We'll have appropriate time music. And on Saturday, we're going to have, for the first time, we used to have a Saturday night event. We are having a luncheon on Saturday also at the Doubletree, and also our program will be on Saturday at the luncheon.
Thank you, Jane. Coming to us from Tucson, Carol Paulson.
Carol Preston Paulson, and I'm from the class of 70. And our reunion, 50th reunion, was postponed due to COVID. And then it was postponed once again when we had it scheduled for October 21. So we are now scheduled to have our 52nd, also known as our class of 70 turned 70 birthday party on May 20th. So it's coming up here. In fact, May 1st is our deadline for RSVPs. So we are doing a banquet on Friday night at Enk's Catering. And then Saturday, we are doing a school tour with Jeremiah. Thank you very much. And I have like over 40 people signed up, but we'll see how many show up. And then I have, then we're doing a class picnic, and it's pretty much just a BYO picnic. We are not really planning to have anything, but it's another chance to get together.
Thanks, Carol. How about Angela?
Hold on, let me unmute myself. Okay. I am Angela Tesson, class of 2002. So we are celebrating our 20th. Currently don't have any dates on the books just yet. I was hoping to get a lot of information from you guys and start planning that. We did have a 10-year reunion, but now it's time for our 20. So.
Thank you. Just a follow up. Did you plan the 10th, Angela, or is this new to you? Okay.
No, we planned the 10th. Makita's on the call too, so she's from my class as well. We had it at the Marriott downtown was where we had our 10-year reunion. So we haven't decided yet where we want to do our 20th, probably somewhere in downtown Lancaster. Just haven't picked a location and date yet.
Thank you. Jesse Bowman.
Yes, good evening. Jesse Bowman, class of 1987. We are currently trying to get together to do our 35th class reunion. Some of the ideas that we tossed around was one, possibly doing another school tour, and two, either back at the Marriott or having a weekend filled get together at Longs Park. And just have just a picnic and somebody grilling and that sort of thing. So those are ideas that we're talking around right now. We have an issue with trying to get people to commit to being on a committee. So we're kind of struggling right now with that.
Thank you. Pete Kaufman.
Hi all, I'm class of 1983, and we're getting ready to do our 40th reunion. We picked our date. I heard a couple of you said that you wanted to do something in 2022 and don't have dates. I would get on that as soon as possible. When we started looking for 2023 in and around Lancaster, a lot of dates at a lot of the places that also do weddings are getting booked up like 2, 3, 4 years in advance around here. It's a really tight market now. And even in Lancaster, there's a lot of people that are doing Friday weddings because they can't get some of these traditional places on Saturdays. But our 40th year reunion is going to be in 2023, and it's going to be at Media Heights Country Club. They've been wonderful to work with. We've had 2 of our past reunions there, including our most recent one. And they have plenty of parking on site, lots of different menus available. And we've had really good luck there. We've been blessed the last time with one of our classmates does the DJ, and he and his wife, well, she's the classmate, but the couple only asked for their dinners to be paid to be DJs for the night, and they brought a photo booth, which was a fun thing to have. They're going to do that again for our in 2023, and ours is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We had our last one, I was telling the guys earlier, we had our last one in October, and it was our least attended one. A couple of people don't like Thanksgiving weekend because of the cost of flights, which we understand. That's sort of why we gave people notice already that we're planning on this for 2023. It gives them well over a year and a half to save up or, plan a trip back to Lancaster if they still have family back here, use that year to come back to town. And I've done all of ours since we never had a 5-year reunion, our class. And we got together a group of, I want to say 5 or 6 of us and put together our 10-year reunion. And it's been sort of that same group of people since then that have put our reunions together. Had a couple people join, a couple people leave, that type of thing. So the other thing that we had traditionally had at our reunions was Buddy Glover. Our class was his first year, and he was a house principal, and he came to every one of our reunions. And obviously he passed, I guess 2 years ago now. So that this will be the first year we don't have him in attendance. So he had a kind of a bond, I would say, with our class, just because we were his quote unquote first class when he was principal.
Thank you, Pete. Corinne.
Hi, Jeremy or Jeremiah. How are you doing?
How are you?
Good. We're working on our 30th, and we're proposing to do it at the Iris Club in Lancaster. And we have a couple of committee members that have sent out a survey. We're anticipating doing it in October, but they were sending out a survey because a lot of our members have expressed having younger children and needing babysitting. And so, yeah, Monica Dixon and Marnell Cummings has been on board. And so, yeah, we're hoping that to have a good turnout. We had a 25th 5 years ago, and we had I think 42 people show up out of a class of almost 600. So yeah, so we're hoping that it's actually bigger this time and more people are able to join us from outside the area.
Thank you, Corinne. Makita, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Just as Angela said, I graduated in 2002. Yes. So this makes this our 20-year reunion, and we did do our 10 year. We were both class representatives as well at McCaskey. So we don't, as she said, we don't have a venue or anything yet. We do have money, so that's a plus that a lot of classes didn't start with. Since we did our 10-year, we have the funds from that, and the not very much, but some funds from that just to help us get started. So we are hopeful. Our last one was about 100 people, if not more. We're hopeful that we can get a good crowd, a decent amount of people. So yeah, that's pretty much. But I do like the school tour idea. That's great. I mean, I'm at McCaskey. I work at McCaskey's, so I'm there all the time. But I'm sure a lot of my classmates haven't been there in 20 years since we graduated. So that's actually a really good idea. So I might reach out to you, or I'll figure it out and talk to the principals and get it scheduled if I need to myself, because I like that idea.
Thank you, Makita. Vicky.
Technical difficulties over here, but I think I'm on.
Yeah, just tell us, what year you graduated, and if you're working on a reunion at the present time, or if you just recently had one that you'd like to share about.
Sure. Vicky Wright Smith, class president for the class of 1984. So we had our last reunion that had been 2019. December, we had it at Clipper Stadium, which was very nice. Everyone really seemed to enjoy it. It was a lovely, lovely facility and lovely place to have a reunion. We didn't have the numbers that I would have liked, but we had enough to celebrate. And to be honest, I'm finding it more and more difficult to even get people to participate in class reunions. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. Friends of mine were all like, maybe people had bad experiences in high school or whatever, and they just want to forget about it. I know I did ask a few friends, and they were just, honestly, they were like, well, I didn't hang out with those people in high school, so why would I want to come to a reunion with them? So I, to be honest with you, I am on the fence about how hard to go for the next one in 2 years, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and if people don't want it, then they just need to let us know, and then we can downscale it a little bit and just get together for lunch or dinner or cook out at a park or something like that. But it is a tremendous amount of work to do year in and year out, and I think we've done one every 5 years, except I think our first one would have been our 6th year. And then we were on schedule to have them every 5 years. And I think the 15th one, we just had no interest at all. So we had to just cancel it. And we were just even trying to do a barbecue for that and couldn't pull it off. So God bless everybody trying to have your reunions. And I wish you all the luck in the world, because it sure ain't easy.
Thank you, Vicky. Ken Keener, are you there?
Hello, I'm here. I'm from the class of 1868. We just did our 150th reunion in 2018. It was a rough transition after the Civil War, getting everybody together. We were at the country club. Some people have accused us of copying their idea for the 50th. But it really was our idea, because we had a member of the country club, and we had well over 200, and it was fabulous. The one tip I'll throw out now, we were able to do it because we went to class members. We have a very active committee. We've all been doing it since the 5th, and this is our 10th time together. We know our classmates pretty well. We put a list together of 25 people and asked them to donate $100.
Yep, that's a great
24 of them donated at least $100. Some went more. That paid for the band, and it also brought the price way down for the people that can't afford it. And they had no problem doing that. So I would suggest that to all of you. At least give it a shot, but you got to know your classmates. So that's the key to that trick. I got some others, but I'll wait for further in the meeting. Glad to hear everybody out there. Don't be discouraged if your class isn't doing and participating. My wife's class has no interest in doing this. Some classes are just that way. It's just the way it rolls. So you got to know them. And if your thought was to go smaller, that's a good idea. Go smaller, build on it, or just stay small.
Yep.
Thank you, Ken.
Yep.
I'll go now, and then I'll give Kathy Arnold the floor. My name is Jeremiah Miller, class of 2000. I actually, since our last class reunion class agent meeting, organized my class's first big reunion that we've ever had. Our 20th reunion, it was supposed to be held in 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen. So we postponed it a year, and we just did a lot of work, mostly on social media, because my class was never very tight. But, as people bought tickets, I would share their high school yearbook photo on Facebook. And that seemed to generate a lot of interest and excitement. And as people saw who else bought tickets, that inspired other people to buy tickets. So we ended up having about 90 people, which for our class is pretty great. And I'm hoping that we can build on that in the future. We had our reunion at the Holiday Inn in Lancaster. They have a couple of different ballrooms there. We went with the smaller one, which is called the Imperial Blue Ballroom. The Holiday Inn is where they have the Imperial Restaurant, for those of you who are familiar with downtown Lancaster. It's basically the same catering company, I think, that manages the restaurant. So we had a great time. yeah, I can talk more about it as we get into the discussion. That was held in October, and I'm just looking forward to the next one. Kathy Arnold. You may not be able to see her, but you'll hear her.
Okay, we're planning our 55th reunion, right? Hi. Yeah. We're planning our 55th reunion right now, and it's scheduled for October 29th this year at the Lancaster Country Club, which is where we also held our 50th. And our classmates loved it so much there that they want to go back. And I think the main reason is almost every single one of our reunions has been on the casual side. Even though we're older folks, we don't like getting dressed up a whole lot. We love to dance. We love to have a good party time. We play some really silly games and stuff, and just have and we have a lot of socialization. So they wanted to go back. So what we did was, because it is a little bit more expensive than some other places, we have a nice checkbook balance. So we're going to defray some of the cost so that it's a reasonable price for everybody. And then the next day we're planning a breakfast. We normally have 3-day events. We said we're getting too tired. We've been having reunions every 5 years, and the last like 8 of them have been 3-day events. So now we're just doing 2. So we'll have the country club on Saturday evening and a breakfast on Sunday. And I think that, oh yeah, like I said, we keep them casual. Now we can't wear jeans at the country club, but most of the fellows wear like a polo shirt and a pair of khakis, and the ladies just dress nicely, but not cocktail dresses or anything like that. So that's what we have planned so far. And we have been having wonderful attendance. At our 50th, we had 250 at the country club. So, but I think that has to do with our age. I think that we are still of that era where we enjoy getting together. And we also get together every 6 weeks for a breakfast, and then in between there, about every 6 weeks for a lunch. So we were lucky. We have a very, very active class, and we really have a lot of fun together.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm just going to share my screen again to help generate some discussion here. Let's see here. Bear with me here. I'm just going to. Okay, so we've already talked a little bit about some of these issues. I heard Jesse mention about the lack of making it hard, that it's hard to get people to participate on reunion committees. We heard something similar from Vicky about participation at reunions themselves. So I'm gonna share a little bit about the Alumni Association at the moment. And this is mostly, it's for Kathy and I to brag a little bit about what we've been up to over the last year, but it's also just to give you a chance to think of any questions you might have, any problems that you've run up against that you might want to throw out there. Some of you may want to respond to the questions that have already been raised and the issues that people have already run into. But the other option I want to give you is just to think about a helpful piece of knowledge you've gained. As we can hear, Ken has already shared some helpful things. So have at it when we get back into discussion to share a helpful tip that maybe you have gained recently as a class reunion organizer, or any question that you might have, which other class reunion agents might be able to shed some light on. So while we do that, I just want to share a little bit about what the Alumni Association has been up to. And I do this also to point out that Kathy and I here in the alumni office are kind of like the McCaskey Alumni Association, Inc., but we really consider you all the real McCaskey Alumni Association, because it's the work that you guys do that is so effective in bringing McCaskey alumni together. So we really appreciate what class agents do. You all are like the the liaisons for the Alumni Association and our ambassadors. So I just wanted to, I guess, share a little bit about what we've been up to since our last meeting. so that you can see how it may have an impact on the Alumni Association itself, the work that you do. So we still do our 50th anniversary celebration for the 50th anniversary class. We do not, other than holding this reunion meeting, this reunion workshop, and providing alumni with resources for reunions here and there, we don't organize reunions ourselves. That's all left up to you, but we do honor the 50th anniversary class, this is a photograph of the last time we did this last year at graduation. These were members of the class of 72. So that is one reunion type event that we do organize. Every year we get the 50th anniversary class together to walk in graduation and be honored at graduation. We also recently gave some funds to the McCaskey libraries. You see Jane, our president, who's here in this meeting in that photograph. So, we raise funds for the McCaskey campus where funds are needed. And one of those areas has been through library books. So we recently presented this check to the McCaskey libraries. We recently did a performing arts exhibit. So we put together all of the history of the McCaskey Performing Arts program. The exhibit was much bigger than this. This is just one photograph from that exhibit, but this was part of what we did for the spring musical. So McCaskey presented Newsies this year. And as part of that, we opened up the Alumni Center to just welcome folks to see this exhibit of all the history of McCaskey Theater dating back to the very beginning. We also still do our Distinguished Alumni event. So this was just a couple weeks ago. We honored another group of 5 recipients. 4 of them were able to attend, well, 3 actually. One of them had to receive the award as a surrogate, but that was a great event that we are still doing every year. And that's a way of creating some interface between our alumni and current students who can be inspired by their stories. We just held our first annual Joe Filo Alumni Classic. Joe Filo was the biggest fan of our alumni basketball games. His daughter Jenna was a 1,000-point scorer and on the basketball team. And so we decided to name this event for Mr. Filo. And we saw the best attendance we've ever seen for that event. So it was a great success. And as many of you know, we're working right now on a statue of Barney Ewell. We've raised the funds for that. And this statue will be placed in Ewell Plaza in downtown Lancaster. So that's what the McCaskey Alumni Association officially has been up to. And hopefully that's given you some time to think about some wisdom to share about your experience as a class agent, or maybe some more questions that you might all have for other class reunion agents. So with that, I will stop my screen share. And let me just go back to Doug. Doug, do you have any other helpful tips about that you've gained as a class reunion organizer that you'd like to share?
Yeah, let me reverse that. I think I'm going to try and get telephone numbers from all of Ken's classmates and try and get checks from them to raise for our class. That's great. That's a terrific idea that I put notes on. We use Facebook a lot. We have a lot of communication through Facebook. Our last event was we had 150 people. We were sold out. We couldn't take any more. So it's a lot of communication, and like I said, particularly on Facebook, which doesn't reach everybody, but we keep trying to find people, reach out to people, and build it from there. It's always a challenge to keep updated on people's addresses, and you and I talked a little bit about that, but it's been very successful, like I said, working through Facebook because people can reach out from there. But I like a lot of these ideas that everybody's been bringing to the table today. So because we'll be at 50 next year, so we need to have a good plan for that.
Thank you. One question I have for you, Doug, is you always share birthday announcements, I noticed, for your class. How did you get all that information? Is it just what Facebook reports if they're having a birthday, or?
To some degree, it's Facebook, and so I have a lot of friends across a couple of different classes. So when I'm friends with someone on Facebook, I have that information about their birthdays usually. So some people question me why I didn't post their something about their birthday. Well, if I'm not friends with them, I don't have that information. So I apologize in advance or afterwards. But people do get a kick out of that and do like to see their names on Facebook. And we try and do a lot with that.
Thank you. Jane, any helpful tips you'd like to share?
Well, we're forget the social media. We're too old for that. What can I say? And it's too bad because I can see and have heard how successful it can be and what a big help. But a hint I got at last year's meeting from Kathy Arnold was to reach out to the class. And we did get in our program last year, or I'm sorry, for the 55th and the 50th, the names, addresses, and emails of everyone who attended. So I sent out, at Kathy's suggestion, an email to all of those people who attended, asking them, did they want 2-day event, evening, luncheon, whatever. And it was very helpful. The response was very good. And we realized that absolutely at our point, a luncheon definitely was, we had a better chance of getting good attendance for a luncheon on Saturday, while still for us party folks, we can do Friday night. And also we're trying to gear it up so that you could do one event, not the other, and financially it would work out. So I appreciate that idea, and it definitely helped us.
Thank you, Jane. Carol.
Okay. Well, we also have a Facebook page, and that's a pretty active site for us. For me, I'm the person who does most of the communication to try to get the word out of what we're doing. And so I use Facebook a lot for that. I also have the email list, and I send out group emails. Jeremiah gets a lot of those because I know I CC him on a lot of that. I also developed a website for our class, and we now have, it shows on there, you can see who's coming to the reunion, especially because it's just coming up. So it shows who's coming to the reunion. It shows our then and now pictures, because for the 50th, we weren't able to do the walk for the graduation because it was COVID. So what happened is Jeremiah asked me for pictures, current pictures of classmates, which I sent, and I had over, I think I had close to 50 or more that people sent me pictures. And so what I discovered is that they then put that together in little then and now slides. So they had a picture, our yearbook picture, and then your current picture. And I shared that with the classmates on Facebook. And then I started asking for more, and I had well over 100 pictures. I'm still getting some, but I had over 100 pictures of then and now, and I put that on our website so that people could take a look at what classmates look like when the yearbook and now. And I think that helps a lot with the people who are so worried about, oh, I won't recognize anybody, I won't know anyone. You know, and having that, they can at least see that, yeah, everybody's changed. We all look different. And I think that really helped. We also do a monthly get together. We actually do two. We do the first, we've changed it from Wednesday to Thursday, the first Thursday of the month. They usually meet at Stubby's right now. They've been to different places, but that seems to be the one that they've settled on for now. And then we also do a Zoom on, I think it's the third Wednesday that started with COVID when we couldn't get together, the people couldn't get together. And I actually am in Tucson now, but I live in Washington State. So a lot of times it was nice for me to be able to do the Zoom, to be able to see people and talk. And so that's gotten to be quite successful too. So that might be some ideas. I also, Jesse, you had said that you were trying to get people to be on your committee and to try to put a committee together. And I didn't know how many you wanted, but just to let you know, we basically have 3 people for our committee. It's myself and Tom Marinaro and Harry Lehman. They've both done it since the 5, and we've done it every 5 years. I got involved at probably, I think it was the 15-year, 20-year reunion was when I got involved. And then we ask people to help out. We have a gal that does decorations. And so we get people to help out, but pretty much it's the three of us that have made the decision. So I don't know how many people you're looking, but you don't need necessarily to have 5 or 6 people to put together the reunion. You can have just a few people and hopefully it still can be successful.
We
do have 80 some classmates coming right now and about 130 people. And we're guessing we're probably going to be around 140, 150.
We have classmates who are eager and who want a reunion, but nobody wants to be on a committee to actually do the work. For our 30th, we had at the Marriott, and we had a committee of 7 or 8, but then, we lost 2. And now trying to plan the 35th, we're down to about 1.
Well, I will say for our 35th, we weren't going to do one. Nobody really wanted to do it. I'm hearing what you're saying. Nobody really wanted to do it. So at the last minute, they decided, oh, we'll just go to the Comfort Inn there on Centerville Road. And we'll just tell people we're all going to meet there. One of the guys went and had it cleared with them. We said, if you want to come, just come there and you can order dinner if you want. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how many people, just word of mouth. And it was basically put together within 2 months. So sometimes you don't really need a lot to put together.
Good to know. Good to know.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Angela, do you have any questions or tips you'd like to share?
Nope, nothing much. I've been writing down all of the ideas as everyone has been talking. I think it's really just getting our people together to start planning stuff, and that's our next route. So very informative though. So I'm writing everything down.
And I would just add, Angela, you can reach out to me because we're about the same age range, and I just did mine. So, I've been hearing people talk about Facebook, and I mean, that's how we did our entire reunion. I mean, we didn't do any mailings whatsoever. And it's just our age range. We're all on Facebook. If there are people who, there may be some outliers, but in that case, we find them in other ways, but almost everything was done through social media. So.
Yeah, for our 10-year, everything we did was through social media, and we have a social media account. It's been pretty much dormant since the 10-year reunion. So it's getting that back active and updating the members and things like that on that. So.
Jesse.
Yeah, one of the things that we did 5 years ago, and I want to thank you, Jeremiah, is we used the alumni directory that a lot of us purchased. Strangely enough, a lot of my classmates had no idea about the alumni directory, or they never got notification that there was an alumni directory. And I asked them, is your information updated with, the Alumni Association at McCaskey's? A lot of them said no, because a lot of them, their information from high school has changed, where they live and so on and so forth. So I told them to reach out to the association to, give them or you their updated information. So that way, you would be able to, in the future, get some sort of notification when the alumni directory would be available to purchase. So then it came up to, well, how much is it? And I said, well, last round, it was like $99 plus tax. A lot of people said, oh no. So the cost was a deterrent for a lot of people. I found it very beneficial because I was able to reach out to a lot of my classmates that I haven't seen since 1987. And it's a good tool to use for outreach versus social media, because a lot of folks just aren't on social media. So that is a good tool that we used during our 30th in 2017. Ours was pretty successful. It was great. We had the Marriott. It was a great turnout. Afterwards, people went to Annie Bailey's and hung out. So folks just hung around downtown. So it was really, really great in 2017. So now trying to plan our 35th. There seems to be a good interest or a good buzz, but nobody wants to put in the work to do it. It seems to be just me and one other person, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle. So we may take Carol's advice and just may not have one, and just say, hey, we'll just meet up somewhere. If you come, we come, and we'll do it that way. I'm going to propose that to some folks and see what their idea or suggestion is. And if it works, then we'll go that route.
Thank you, Jesse. Vicky.
Yes, and I jotted down some notes too, because there were some things I really wanted to share. Helpful hints that I would suggest. I know for one of our reunions, we had classmates that I love the idea that Ken suggested of having them put up $100. We didn't have that, but we did have classmates that would sponsor other classmates that couldn't, make it, didn't have the money to make it. So I always thought that was a great idea. Some would say they couldn't make it, but they'll buy a ticket, and I'll say, well, I got a free ticket. Anybody want it? And people did snatch them up like that. The other thing we did when we had our one reunion, we had one classmate that provided all the alcohol. So we just went to like Costco's and brought a bunch of alcohol. Had my sister and another friend serve as bartenders, and we had wine. And then we bought the beer with the money from the class, but the classmate made sure we had the alcohol because believe it or not, alcohol is important to these people at these events. So make sure you got their alcohol there. One thing I always say is that, and I hear you, Jesse, our 35th was such a struggle. When I finished, I was like, I'm not doing this by myself again. If I can't get like a good 5 people to help me, we just won't have a reunion. Because at that moment, I felt like, and I always say it too, I want to get to the point where hopefully financially I can do it for free for everybody. I know I can throw them a barbecue for free. That would be a whole lot of fun. But again, these people want alcohol, and you can't have alcohol in the parks and stuff. So if I can maybe get a classmate that would pay for a venue, I think I could pull it off and just say free. Come on, everybody. Doug, I did want to give you a shout out because the last time I was on this reunion planning thing, you told me about the birthday shout outs. And you're right. I get beat up sometimes because I forget people. So now I end everyone by saying, happy birthday to so-and-so and everyone else celebrating the day that I'm not friends with here on Facebook. Because they really get upset. And then some people get upset if you miss their birthday. I'm like, hey, I was sick. I'm sorry. But no on Facebook this day, but they do get a kick out of it. And so if you do have a Facebook page, I would consider doing that too, because they really love it. And I think what I said after the last one, I want to find the best party planners in my class and let them do their thing, because that's what they specialize in. So I know if they're willing to help, they'll be able to put together a nice product. So that's one suggestion I would make. And just to round it out, we have 213 members on our Facebook page, but when I check my email, we had 55 show up for our 35th reunion. So yeah, it was a little disappointing to me. But like I said, the Clipper Stadium, if you can get that, it is a wonderful place to have a reunion. And the 55 of us that showed up, we had a ball. And that's all I got to add for you.
Thank you. Corinne.
Yeah, we did a entire weekend event, and we used Facebook to do that, and everybody paid through my event. And so we did a Friday night football game, a Saturday morning tour with Jeremiah, and then the evening at the Four Seasons. And we did it without any class funding. I kind of took the risk of having to pay for everything if no one showed up. But it all worked out. We wound up with $23 left at the end of the entire event. And one of the things that we did for the Saturday night event was we got a few teachers that we had in high school, because I'm still pretty active with Frank Albright. And so we brought him in, and we brought a couple other teachers in. And so that really kind of was a draw. We paid for their tickets as a class for them to have dinner along with their spouse. So that really added to it. And Frank Albright brought pictures of the class that he had taken all those years ago, and left people pull out pictures of their themselves and take them home. So he kind of left everybody destroy his picture books. And then we had a bar, but we it was a cash only bar over the Four Seasons. So we never really had we had a bond and like an umbrella policy in case anybody decided to wreck themselves on the way home. I think that's a really important thing, that we could have had a lot of liability with the way people were drinking. So that might be something that everybody wants to take into consideration when you're serving a lot of alcohol at an event. And we just had a blast. People flew in from California. They saw it on Facebook. Those that weren't on Facebook, somehow, our classmates kind of got word of mouth to everybody. And so I tried to make it really fun on Facebook. I played the final countdown song, to kind of tell people, hey, we're at the end of being able to buy tickets, so get on there. So we had a DJ from the class of 91 do the music and everything. So, it turned out real nice. So I'm hoping that that's what occurs this time around.
Thank you, Corinne. Pete, any tips you want to share?
I would agree with Vicky. Our class likes to drink. We've had sit-down dinners for all our reunions. We've included in the price of all the non-alcoholic drinks you want. Beer is also included in our price. And then cash bar for mixed drinks, because we couldn't figure out how to afford, I guess, for lack of a better word, that having it. I know somebody brought up the liability part about that. Having it at Media Heights, we're lucky because that is on them. They hire the bartenders. Our class doesn't have to have a liability and insurance thing because they are in charge of the dispensing, I guess is the right word, of the alcohol. So we've never had that kind of problem. It's always hit or miss in terms of when you plan it, who can come, who cannot come. We usually generally get like I said, we get a pretty good turnout. Obviously not close to the 515 people that graduated in our class. We don't come anywhere close to that. We're on the, I guess, the age of burgeoning social media. So we still mail out invitations, and we do Facebook, and we try to do emails. to follow up, and it'll be a thing like, hey, do you know this person? Can you make sure they get the information if we don't have addresses or email or contact information? I know somebody was talking about the alumni book. It doesn't cost you anything to get your name and stuff listed there. It only costs you money if you actually want to buy the book. And then the Alumni Association, if you get enough of your classmates, they have a really good list then that you can get from the Alumni Association for that contact information. So you don't have to actually buy the book to get yourself enrolled into the Alumni Association book. And obviously that's gotten way bigger in the course of the last 40 years because, well, you have, what, 600 classes seem to be bigger now. So, 600 times, 40 years, you're adding way more names. So we try and do a DJ, have a dance floor. We've done, like I said, we've done sit down dinners. Our price range has usually been around $50, $55. And again, like Ken said, we don't have anybody that donates a large sum of money, but we've never turned anybody away because included in our mailers and our information is that if you do want to come, there is somebody that has always stepped up to cover an extra person's meal. We've done a couple of things on Friday nights. Like our main reunion is Saturday dinner, 6 to 11 type of thing. We've done some things on Fridays. Last year we did it at Funks in Leola. Just send out an invitation if you want to come, show up, and everything's on you. We had about 20 people, I think. So it's not a great turnout, but we did find out that people had gatherings on that Saturday of our reunion earlier in the day. So like they had different groups of people that sort of got together ahead of time, and then they had their little mini reunions, and you can get some of that, your good buddy chats out of the way, and then at the reunion you kind of like socialize a little bit more with people that you might have been fringe friends. I don't know if that's the right word, but acquaintances, not necessarily your good buddies. Travel obviously is a hard thing for people now coming back to Lancaster. It's not always the easiest thing. You just got to pick a date. I think I talked to Jeremiah or Kathy about this once before, but the football schedules and homecoming don't come out far enough in advance to figure out when homecoming is. I mean, I talked to John Mitchell about this prior to our last reunion when we were going to do it in October, and he said that decision isn't made that far ahead. So we had to like I said, we had to randomly pick a date, and unfortunately it ended up being not only not homecoming, but an away football game. So it wasn't something that we could do. I know it's a 2-year cycle, but again, like I said, we booked our place already, we're 18 months. Well, when we booked it, we were probably 20 months prior to, because places are, I think places are hard to get in Lancaster, especially if you're getting a good crowd. I can't believe some of you guys talking about you have 250 people at your reunions. That's just, to me, that's awesome. It's hard to hear people that only get 40 or 50, like I said, when you're considering there's 500 people in your class, that's not even a tenth. But at the same time, if you had a class that wants to do these events, you're going to have a way different experience than if you have a class that not necessarily wants to do those events. And again, you can't push people, you can't force people. You just kind of, like I said, we try and do a lot of word of mouth. Hey, this guy's coming, he's on the basketball team, why don't you contact a couple other guys from your class? We've also had suggestions from class of 81 and 82 talking to us a little bit about trying to put together a 3-year reunion from when we would have been sophomores to when 82 would have been juniors and 81 would have been seniors. But when we start trying to figure out venues again. If you're talking 300 people, you have to plan for a way different venue than if you're planning, your 150 core from your class. I mean, it sounds like a great idea. I mean, even a 5-year span might be fun for somebody from, like, my class would have been 83. So if we could have gotten 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, when we were seniors, 85 would have been sophomores. And when we were sophomores, 81 would have been seniors. You had those interactions with kids ahead of you and kids behind you. And those kind of things sound neat. It's the logistics of pulling something like that off is kind of hard. But like I said, we've been getting good crowds. Our October one, our last one was our least attended. So we switched back to Thanksgiving for this upcoming one. And I did have a question for you, Jeremiah. Thanksgiving weekend, is there a possibility of touring McCaskey then? Or is that a closed facility?
Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend, the school is it's just one of those times when the school is probably off limits, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. We could certainly look into it, but yeah, it's likely that when all offices are closed for the weekend, it's unlikely that we can get in, but we can look into it.
Yeah, we had never done a tour, and a couple of people had talked about having done tours with their classes, and that sounds like fun, because I know the school is way different. Well, McCaskey East wasn't there, obviously, when we were in school, and so even the grounds are different, with the setup of the football stadium and the softball field there and the baseball diamond and all that kind of stuff.
Right. So would that be the 26th of November?
2023.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, we won't know until next year, but it's unlikely we would be able to access the school, but we could certainly look into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be November 25th of 2023.
Okay.
If my calendar, the 23rd would be Thanksgiving, so the 25th would be our reunion. And like I said, we do Facebook. We're not as active as Doug with the birthdays, or Vicky with the birthdays, which I think that's great. The unfortunate post that we've had on our page recently is we share obituaries. Like if somebody sends me something, like one of my classmates' parents dies or something like that, we just had the unfortunate incident where one of our classmates' sons OD'd, and we shared his obituary to try and let people know. But birthdays is a way better idea than sharing the other news. Any kind of news that gets sent to me, I try and put out there. We also have the same problem where not everybody knows who to talk to or whatever to get the information put on Facebook. And I don't see everything. If somebody tells me something happens, then we do it. But yeah, that birthdays is a lot of work, and I can see Vicky was saying about how somebody didn't like that they got missed, and then you yourself would feel bad, but at the same time, you're right. You didn't know the information. There's no way to share information that you don't know. But again, Jeremiah and Kathy at the Alumni Association have so much info there with the contacts. I mean, I would hit them up, a year ahead of time to get their list, and then you can compare it to your list, and then hopefully it can be what's the right word? Give and take, where we can then provide the Alumni Association with updated information, and they might have updated information about people that we don't know. So again, they're a great resource, and they're always helpful, except for opening the school on Thanksgiving weekend. But we'll take that.
Well, thank you, Pete. Makita, would you like to share any tips or ask any questions?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I heard screaming, so I ran outside. But I have you guys in my ear, so I can definitely hear you. No, I think there was a lot of great ideas. What we did for our 10 year was, like Angela said, the Marriott. And then I believe we had them pay a certain amount. It was relatively cheap because we paid for everything for the venue and the food. And then we did a memorial for our fallen classmates that were no longer with us, which I know that a lot of people enjoyed. Honestly, I mean, we did have alcohol there. I think it was open bar for, I think, beer and wine, maybe for, I think, 1 or 2 hours. And then and then it was cash bar. Yeah, but by then I was having a really good time. So, for the most part, from what we did have a photo booth, or it was a photo station. We had hors d'oeuvres passed. It was a beautiful experience. Like, it was really nice. We did have a DJ, which was one of my good friends, and we also did have sponsors. Okay, I'm on the phone, Azalea. Yes, sorry. I'm like, she's right there. She's not allowed to do anything without me asking first because I'm in the house. So yeah, we did have sponsors, which I thought was a very big thing. A lot of our class 2002, I say we're the best class ever. I'm sure everyone thinks that their class is, but we got 2001 and 2000 beat. So pretty much we're the 2000 champions, in my opinion, of the 2000 year realm thing. So our class, like, they own a lot of businesses. So people own car lots, they own houses, they own clothing stores. So all of them, we all reached out and personally went to them and asked for sponsorship for our graduation, which no one turned us down. I thought was amazing. And all of those same places 10 years later are still in business as well, and they're thriving. So I'll go right back to them because they're all boys that I knew in high school. So it's like, if I'm coming, then you know what I'm asking for. But that was a big thing. But I did like the idea of having people that are more successful than others to, see if they're willing to donate $75 to $100 just to the class to help offset the cost. That's actually a phenomenal idea. I didn't think about the picnic, or I don't call it a picnic, I'm sorry, a cookout. I didn't think about that. So that's also a good idea. We just have to worry about the weather. So no, I think that this was a lot of great information that will definitely be applied between me and Angela. And we also have about, I want to say, at least 3 other classmates that are willing to work with us or will work with us, which is a good thing because we all remain best friends from high school till now, and we're all class representatives. So that all works out. But I think that we'll have at least 2 to 3 that will work with us and help us to grow it, because I know I want to be 40, 50 something years later here and having big parties like that, because that just sounds fun. And I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for Lancaster, and I think it's a great thing to bring our community in. Just off the top of my head right now, just from this conversation, the fact that you guys had these different things like the tours, the cookouts, the yacht club. Like, there's so many prominent people that did so much for McCaskey in our day. And that was before Jerry Johnson and all that. We had, what did we have? We had a whole bunch of scholars that went on that they would be willing to, those providers, those organizations will be willing to contribute to a 20-year reunion. So like, if I got different sponsors that would help, whether it be in the community or in the county, I think a lot of people would be willing to do that. It's just a matter of getting that format together. So if you guys have, as the Alumni Association, like letters that are already formatted to give to sponsors, I feel like me and Angie sat with someone at the Alumni Association before about this, and we talked about getting letters and sending them out to businesses, asking them if they would donate or help out. And I believe we got a good response, or some type of response. But all those things are just great ideas. So that was my little idea. I didn't hear that come up. So that would be a good one, just to keep McCaskey in their memories and in their heart. Because without McCaskey, there's no city. There's no city of Lancaster, and we all are McCaskey proud. And I just think that's phenomenal that we continue that and allow the city. So even if we have to have vendors in to give information and they pay for a booth, I think that would be a great idea as well, to get some information out there. I just think that we need to make it bigger and allow the community to come in and support and honor the men and women that have went through McCaskey, especially after this horrific pandemic. And it's not even after, we're still in it, but during this horrific pandemic and the war, like, we have a lot of things going on in our lives. I just think it would be great to really reach out to the community during this time to bring them all in to help with our reunion. So yeah, that was it. I mean, I know it was long, but I think it was a good idea.
Thank you, Makita. And yes, we definitely, the Alumni Association keeps a list of alumni-owned businesses. We don't solicit them for reunions per se, but we're always willing to share the names of alumni-owned businesses which class reunion organizers are welcome to solicit for their own purposes. Ken Keener, I know you're a wealth of tips, so jump on in.
Okay, Makita, I would suggest that you have a letter when you're going into the businesses and you make a personal appearance. You're going to get 200% better response if you're doing it in person as opposed to just a letter sent to them. The person-to-person thing works very good. And you should have the letter with you, because you may not be able to meet with the person that's responsible for giving out the funds, and you can leave it and then leave contact information. So just throwing that out there as far as that's concerned.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure. As far as lead time to do one of these things, on the bigger ones, was it Keith that said 20 months? You got to go 2 years out now to get a nice venue. You start 2 years away. 2 years away, and in a month or two, you got to come up with where you're going to go, because if you don't, you're not going to get the better venues and the ones that fit our size for what we're trying to do. As part of that, one of the things we did when we talked with the country club is we ask if there's nights that are better than others, as far as they'll cut us a break because they're not as full, where they really want to push a date or a specific time of year. And we were able to cut out the actual rental rate and just pay for the food by doing that. It was Saturdays in August. They just have trouble filling them for some reason. They usually fill Fridays and other days, but you can do that with the event planner from any one of the venues. So you can, if it's available. If you don't ask, you don't know. So put that out there when you're talking to the different event planners at places. As far as contact information, I've heard the Facebook, social media. I didn't hear cell numbers. Cell numbers is the key. You get a cell number, it usually stays the same for a person. Their home address is going to move. Their email is going to move. Cell numbers pretty constant most of the time. So every time you have any kind of get together, get cell numbers associated with names of your classmates. And just build a little database. Doesn't even have to be a database. It can be a list on a piece of paper. And then you've probably got them for the rest of the time, because they rarely change cell numbers. One of the things about funds, once you start raising some money, it's nice to start a savings account if you're able to do that, so you have seed money for the next reunion. We just slowly build ours up now that we've been doing it 55 years. We have a really nice seed account, and you make two people responsible, so there's an accountability, and both names are on that account. There's business accounts that don't charge you. The banks, you can work that out with you. So that's a thought for future. And then you got something to start with every time you're starting a reunion. You don't have to use your own money. One of the things we did at our last reunion, which was very well received, and this has to do with our age, I read the list of the classmates that we've lost in alphabetic order. And it was, we heard a lot of positives about that. I mean, it was a depressing time, but it was like a lot of people said, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. It's something I really felt, and my classmates and my reunion committee, the rest of us felt we really should do. We should give honor to those people. And that's something I'd suggest to you. Maybe some of you that are just doing 10th, 20th, maybe not, but maybe so. I mean, I just, that's a personal thing with me, and I liked it, and it was well received. Just letting you know, I didn't know how it would be received, and it was received very well. I think that's about it. Yeah. Oh, one final plug for Jeremiah. If you're approaching the 50th, walk with the class. They will help you do it. It is awesome. You need to do it if you have the opportunity to walk with the graduating class. We had a blast. We talked about that for a long time. It was just a really, really cool night. And Alumni Association does all the work, transportation, everything. Meal, I don't know if they'll still be doing the meal, but it's really worth it, so do it. And Kathy and Jeremiah, you guys are doing a fantastic job. I've seen over the years, you guys have picked up the ball and ran with it, and you're doing a fantastic job. Okay, I've rambled enough.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, it's one of those events, the 50th graduation celebration, that you don't really realize how great it is until you experience it. So for those of you who have it approaching in years to come, definitely take advantage of that. It really is very special to witness the 50th anniversary class walk into graduation and kind of see the reaction that it gets from the current students. It's really powerful. I'll jump in here unless Jeff Trower, I see you here. Would you like to share what you've been up to in terms of reunion planning? Jeff Trower, are you there? Okay, well, I will jump in with my own feedback on everything I've been hearing. I think for me, this first time around planning a reunion, I can definitely relate to the kind of discouragement that's been expressed by folks dealing with participation. I had one other classmate who stepped forward and was willing to assist me in organizing the reunion. She was wonderful, and she was very resourceful in terms of finding other classmates or people who graduated close to the time we did, who might be willing to donate their time and resources. We had a guy from the class of 2001, I think, who stepped in to decorate for us, do all that for free. As I said, we used the Imperial Blue Ballroom at the Holiday Inn. We used Eventbrite for our ticketing. So, it's a little bit troublesome because they take a portion of the money that you raise. So it's not the greatest way to do it, but it's the only way that I know of and the most efficient way to do ticketing online. So if anyone has any other ideas about that, please speak up, because I would like to find an alternative to Eventbrite in terms of doing ticketing online. One thing I learned from my last reunion is my age group, it's very hard to get them to sort of sit still in one place for any kind of ceremonial thing. I think next time when I organize the reunion, I'm just going to have the DJ play the music and they can come in. This last time, I too invited a former educator, Butch Staub, who was a principal that we all adored. And Butch I wrote this speech for him, and it was great. And like half the class listened to it, but the other half just started showing up and talking to their friends. And they completely spoke over Butch's speech. So that didn't work out so well. So I know another peer of mine, Ronnie Bleacher, who has had reunions, has invited educators, but he just kind of has them mingle with the group. And I think next time that's how I'll go about it, rather than having anyone make a speech of any sort. Like Ken mentioned, we also read the names of those who are deceased. We're all 40 now, and unfortunately we're starting to see people go, which is too bad at our age, but we've lost a handful of people in the last year. So I think next time I'm just going to have sort of a memorial table with their photographs and all that, because all of that was spoken over too. So I think it's a generational thing. We're just not in an age group yet where we're willing to sort of sit still and listen to a speech. And I think that goes for the classes younger than us too. I want to echo again, I really like Ken's idea of reaching out to folks and asking them to donate $100. Getting 20 people to do that is a great idea. With this first time around, I ended up kind of going in the hole myself on this reunion. I think next time, having learned what I've learned, it'll be a lot easier to raise funds ahead of time, and that's a great idea, I think, what Ken shared. So thank you for that. We had our after party at Decades, which is a fun place with video games and skee ball and all kinds of fun activities. And one of my classmates just kind of stepped in and said, I'll organize the after party. And so, next time around, I'll just go straight to him and he'll be part of the committee. So I think sometimes it's just through trial and error, these committees and the people willing to lend a hand kind of organically come on board. So I think next time it'll be a lot easier. And I definitely understand the frustration. I'm giving my class a little bit of a pass because this was our first time doing a big reunion, but it can feel very thankless. And I think you just have to kind of, suck it up and just as long as you have a good time, that's the important thing. So I want to give Kathy a chance to share as well. So, okay.
I'll just mention a couple of things because I've heard some of the things that we've had success with have already been mentioned. As far as deceased classmates, because we now have so many, we do a board and we put their yearbook picture and the year that they passed away on there. We put it in alphabetical order, maiden name included. And we have like a little memorial table. We have a candle lit and there's a nice little poem that we have there and an empty chair. So that's how we do that. Venues. I wanted to mention that we've had several reunions at the American Legion. And we found that even with their reorganization and different things going on, you can bring in your own food there if you like and use their bars. With the alcohol, yes, if you're having an event and you want to have it at a park or whatever, or at a private place, you're going to have to get liability insurance for the alcohol. That's why we were going to do that once and we said, no, we don't want that responsibility. And so we always go to a place where the bartenders serve the alcohol. And as far as alcohol goes, we learned at about our 15th or 20th reunion that we had a lot of people who were complaining because we included beer and wine in the price. And all the rest of the alcohol was cash bar. And a lot of people were saying, hey, we don't drink, we don't drink. Why should I be paying for someone else's alcohol? So from that time on, cash bar, everything, cash bar. We provide water and sodas and that, non-alcoholic beverages for everyone. But if you want to drink alcohol, and we've had no complaints from the point of time when we changed it, we just have not had any complaints.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then I heard Jeremiah mention after party. We had an after party at our 50th at Decades also. That is a really fun place, a really cool place. And that might even be a place if you're not planning a formal reunion and you just want to say, hey, let's get together here. Whoever shows up, you have a good time. Decades is a really, really fun place to do that.
I didn't even know they were still open. Sorry. I didn't know they were still open, Jeremiah. So they opened that back up?
I think so. I drove by.
We were there a month ago. It's still open. It's
Okay.
great time too. But it is a little
that's
packed.
a
We had to
great
wait
option.
a couple hours for bowling. And so
Okay.
all right, we'll just go out to round one out Park City on Sunday.
Oh, that's a good idea too. I didn't think about round one. Okay. Thank you
Round one
guys.
is nice.
Yeah, it is really nice. I just didn't think about it for a reunion. Decades, like I've been there, and that is a great spot. So if they're up and they're doing, but did Jeremiah, did you rent out the whole entire thing or?
No, we didn't. We just went over there for the after party. We didn't have any problems. I mean, it wasn't the whole group that went over. A lot of people just went home, but a good portion of the reunion went over, and there wasn't any problem with that. So
Okay.
Yeah, we had about 30 people, but some bowled and some sat at the bar and some just mingled in the corner. And we just found it was a really, and then people would just get together and talk and whatever. We just found it to be a really fun place.
Yeah, I just think that's a great idea. I mean, we didn't have anything in the city of Lancaster like that for a while. So
Yeah.
as long as I was living. So I just think that's a great idea to have it. Because me and Angela were trying to do is keep it downtown, keep it so that it's accessible to all of our class. Most of us all use Uber and anything if you're going to drink and all that. So I'm looking at that portion of it, of what can everybody get to, where can they go, and how accessible and people friendly they are as well.
I just want to say one more thing. Our class has been very, very, very fortunate in that we've always had great attendance, but we're older, and that was the thing to do, and times change and things change. So don't ever be discouraged if you plan a reunion and 25 people show up. As long as 25 people are having a great time and enjoying each other, you've had a successful reunion. So don't.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Don't
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've been lucky, but yeah.
When we only got to 55, a couple people wanted to cancel it, and I said, no, we're not canceling it. It's important. People expect it, and we're going to do it. And at 55, they show up, we're going to have a great time, and we did.
If there's two people there, it's a party.
That's right.
Yep. Exactly, Ken.
And you know that Ken can fund it for most of us now.
Well, it's class Ken.
Yeah, and just adding to what Kathy said, I mean, it's interesting for me getting to know all the different McCaskey classes, because some are just, tighter than others. I mean, some classes just sort of like each other more than others. My class struggled with that because of circumstances. Half of us were at McCaskey East when we first came to McCaskey, and the other half were at JP. So a lot of us just didn't know each other. So there's that. I think it's a great note to end on, as Kathy mentioned, that no matter how many people you can get together, if you're all having a good time, that's what's important. And I think it can be very intimidating for people, the idea of coming to their reunion. And I just wish they would all kind of have the courage to do it, because once you do, you just realize that you share so much history with all these people. You think you're not going to know anyone. It's like, oh wait, I went all through elementary school with these people. So it's just it's a much greater experience than I think people think it will be. With that, I just want to, we like to keep this meeting to 90 minutes, but we do have 5 more minutes in case anyone has any burning questions based on what they've heard that they'd like to put out there.
I just want to add something that I learned from Kathy. And it was I think it was your 50th, on their registration form, they put a little note there that said, okay, I'm submitting this much money for the reunion, but then there was also, if you would like to donate for future projects or to help defray costs, here's an additional donation. And I did that for our current reunion now. And I am just blown away that I'd say probably 75% of the people have sent in extra money. And it's been anywhere from $10, which every little bit helps, up to $1,000. So it's just been, that it was a simple little addition on the form to sign up, but it's generated a lot of money, and it's also helped to defray the cost of the alcohol because we are doing the beer and wine. So it really is, we aren't worried about that now. All that's covered. So thank you, Kathy, for that idea.
One thing I will add though is just for you folks that are thinking about doing your reunions now, and if you want to try to come up with an idea to make it more fun, I see a lot of people doing karaoke now. So maybe if you could fit like an hour or two of karaoke into your reunion, you might be able to get more people to come.
I think that's a good idea as well. I mean, both of those ideas was a great idea. So me and Angela, since we are planning ours this year, we'll be on it, and Angela's taking notes, I'm sure. That's my best friend. I know she is. I just think that this was a very positive meeting, and I know you guys have been doing it way longer than we have, but thank you. Thank you for all of this, because it was a lot of information that we both needed in order to make this plan come true.
Thank you.
This is one of the things our reunion committee does. We keep telling each other what a good job we're doing and building each other up.
Great.
I'm joking.
And then you get 55 people to show up.
Kathy's point. We go back to Kathy's point.
Well, we will, this meeting has been recorded, so, and we will put it on our social media page, our Facebook page. So if you want to share this meeting with any of your classmates, please do so. I'll try to email it to all of you who've attended tonight, so you can share it with your
Thanks for the great feedback, everybody. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
Thank you. And at the next class reunion workshop next year, there will be karaoke. I'm just warning you.
I want to go first. I want to go first.
So spread that news around.
I'm busy that day.
It's
Oh,
fun.
I'm
Don't be
there.
scared. It's fun.
That's okay, Vicky. Vicky, I'll be there right with you.
That's right. We're going to sing a song
They
together.
must sing right.
Yep.
They must
Hey,
sing right. Late
Jeremiah?
one night, AE rolled up on the right.
Are you
Yes.
in the building at this point?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you next Tuesday then.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Have a
All
great
right.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you
for doing
all.
what you're doing.